Stanford University.
So Christopher asked us to give a quick background about ourselves, and then I'm actually going to talk about what we do on campus, and so many of you are affiliated with Stanford. And my background is I've actually always been interested in sustainability since middle school. Actually, to tie it to Food Summit 3, I wrote my college application essays based on John Robbins' book about food, Diet for a New America, and he was the guest speaker last year, which I was thrilled about. And then I ended up working, sort of like Laura, in different things, and I worked in the sustainability space. I went to Harvard undergrad, and I ended up working in their campus sustainability office for, I don't know, it's like 6-7 years on and off. And then I realized, what am I really interested in? Well, I love sustainability. I had been interested in food. I had changed my diet, became vegetarian because there was not grass-fed beef back then, or wherever Danny is, when I was 13 years old, and then became vegan. And so I've always really been interested in food, but what was I reading? You know, I was reading Michael Pollan, I was reading Bon Appetit magazine, and so I was like, I'm really into food, and I love sustainability. And then a job at Harvard's Dining Services, the Food Literacy Project, opened up, and I was always going to their events, and I got that job and did that for a while, and then moved out to California, and there was one job, and Matt had it, and I just, you know, bided my time till he left, and here I am. And it's, so it's pretty wonderful. So working at Stanford Dining, what I really love about it, working at the university, and you'll see a lot of this, but I mean, this is my job, like today. And working with these people that you've heard talk today, you know, working with Danny or Jared or Tony, I mean, it's just amazing. Like, this is my job, and it's also education. So I really love that, because I feel like we at Stanford Dining, we make a really big impact on people. So I'll give you a quick overview. Dining is part of residential and dining enterprises. We have a huge scale. We touch the lives of basically everyone on campus. In dining, we have 11 dining halls, plus a number of other operations, including our training table for our athletes. Hospitality and auxiliaries, we have 23 different locations, including catering, lunch today, the cafe right outside. At dining, we serve 12,000 meals a day just in dining, which it's the equivalent of 3 million meals per year. So it's a really, really big impact just in the terms of purchasing and the people, you know, the education space. When we look at the impact on even a broader scale, everyone that we serve right now, so it's students, a lot of grad students, over 4,000 grad students, so equal number of undergrads and grad students on our meal plan, plus staff and faculty. All of those people, and when you're talking about, Laura said, vote with your fork, they will eat, just these current people right now, 200 million meals in their lifetime. So if we can really work on the education and talk to them about the different great small farmers and producers out there and really change the way they're purchasing, I feel like we've made a really big impact. Oh, going back. So part of one thing about R&DE that I love is that sustainability is in not just our mission, our vision, and also our values. And you know, I did not make these slides yesterday. It's always been there. So it's really a big part of what we do. And then working at Stanford, it's a living and learning environment. So things like the Food Summit, you know, this is what we do. We actually have partnered, Matt partnered with Christopher, and they were running interventions in the dining hall to see how can you get students to make healthier choices. And we have student groups we work with, one called Mix It Up Mondays for a class, where they were running different, you know, behavior change interventions to see how can we get people to change their behavior. So we have this sort of captive audience who's eating, you know, 12,000 meals a day. So we can really run these studies, and then we can do events like this, or we have a class called Grow It, Cook It, Eat It, which is pretty similar to this. Actually, Danny's going to go speak to it this afternoon, and a lot of the same speakers speak to that. Then they also go to the farm and work with Patrick, or they work in one of our gardens, and then they work with our chefs and learn how to cook. So it really kind of ties this Food Summit together. It's this class that Matt created called Grow It, Cook It, Eat It. So you guys should sign up next time we offer it. So I was going to give you a quick overview, my remaining 5 minutes, of our sustainable food program. First of all, the sustainable food program was started because of students like you guys who asked the administration and asked Dining, we want something like that. So the first person in the role was a recent grad. So I have you guys to thank for my job, and we've really expanded it since then, especially with the help of students. So when we're talking about jobs, and Laura said get experience, I have about 15 student interns that I hire that work with me that really help me. I'm only one person, and there is an amazing amount to do. So I really am able to do a lot more because of them. So you'll meet some of them. We'll have a table at the fair later. But This is just a quick overview of what we do, but I really want to talk mostly about purchasing. But collaboration, so we work with different student groups. There's about 11 environmental, actually now more, because the Cooking Society, there's probably 13 or 14 student groups that are sustainability related on campus. I have the interns, we work with faculty like Christopher and Patrick and Matt and Deborah and people like that. And then the staff, I'm collaborating with Res Ed to do a lot of sustainable food programming in the houses. So we've been working with Branner, which is a public service house and actually tied to the Haas Center. And we've worked with the Haas Center quite a bit because they're public service. So we really get to work with everyone, which is exciting. And we also have one of my favorite things is gardens. We have a garden next to every dining hall except for one. And so they're student run, they're student managed, they're organic, and we use the produce in our dining halls. So we work really closely with all of our chefs and cooks, and it's really nice. You can come visit. We had the food fight the students had organized this the past few days. It ended today, and we've been doing a lot of garden work days since Food Day last week. And then a big part of what we do is education and behavior change. So I've talked about some of these. A great example, just a few weeks ago, we had Sustainable Seafood Week. And so this tied everything we do together. On our menu every day, we had a sustainable seafood. So our chefs worked on that. And then we buy all of our salmon direct from a family fishery in Alaska. It's wild Alaskan salmon called Taku River Reds. And so Heather and Kirk Hardcastle came down to Stanford for 3 days. And they went around to the dining halls and just met all of the students. And it was amazing. Like Kirk would walk around Florence Moore, go up to a table of students, interrupt them, and then just tell them about it. Like, hey, I catch all of your salmon. We buy 25,000 pounds a year from them. So I have all the salmon that we eat in the dining halls. You know that Heather and Kirk or their friends had caught that. And so the students would give them a round of applause. I mean, it was pretty amazing. We had them go talk to classes. We had a cooking class, so we do a lot of cooking classes, and actually Kirk taught that with our new chef Chandon Clinard, who will be speaking this afternoon later on. I go around and speak to a number of different classes when they want to talk about sustainable food, and I work a lot on training our staff and operations, waste, recycling, things like that. I'm going to move on to this, because this is what I think is most important of what we do, and really a lot of what everyone's been talking about is the purchasing. So a lot of it, I think, is relationships, and it's our team. So we have an amazing team. Diane is here from our food buying purchasing team, who makes these relationships with. These are people here, different companies, that when you go into our dining halls, we are always purchasing from them. So they mentioned earlier, if you have a hamburger in our dining hall, it will always be from Marin Sun Farms. So we always have a lot of local and organic, and we're actually a leader in the college world. So the Real Food Challenge is a group out there who's really trying to push the Sodexos and the big companies of the world to get more sustainable food, and the goal is 20% by 2020. Well, we're at 42% sustainable food, and you define that as local, organic, direct, humane, and there's actually a definition that we use to do the calculations of the 5,000 plus products that we buy, which I spend the summer doing. So there are a lot of things that are local and organic. We're in California, so you go in there, but these are things, like I said, all the time. So, we work with Tony and buy from Alba, and that's something we really are going to try to scale up this year again, because he talked about distribution and some, issues that make it harder for a smaller place like that to bring it on campus. Our pork shoulder is always from Nyman Ranch. Our apples are always organic. Our coffee is always fair trade. So we had a couple actually new things that we added this year. So every year we try to add more to our portfolio. So when I started in February, we had 11 items, and now I think we're about 16. And so, what I'm really excited when I talked about relationships, a lot of these people are here today for the Food Summit. So we added all of our milk is now organic from Strauss Creamery. It's organic and local, and they're here today. All of our romaine, chopped romaine, is organic and local from Earthbound Farms, as is our spring mix, but the romaine is new. And they're here today. All of our herbs, or 5 different herbs, are organic and local from Jacob's Farm, and they're also here today. They've also donated a lot of herbs to our gardens, and a lot of these companies have come for events like our Earth Day event last year, so we really try to get them to meet the students, a lot of a Know Your Farmer. Quickly, 2 more, organic and local chard from Coke Farm, which is nearby, and then American Tuna we just got a new canned tuna that's sustainable, but all of our seafood is Monterey Bay Seafood Watch approved, and I spend a lot of time, auditing our chefs and looking at what we're actually buying. And you can see Taku River Reds up there. But I think a really big part of what we do is these relationships, and then educating the students of Know Your Farmer, Know Your Producer. And that's really exciting. So we're really honored to be working with all of these folks. The eggs are cage-free eggs. Sorry, that's probably the only one I missed there. And I think that was it. I have 15 seconds left. So thank you so much. We will be at the table later. And actually, we have a new sustainable food newsletter that goes out weekly or bi-weekly of all of the events on campus, plus a Know Your Farmer, Know Your Producer bio at the end. And I will have a sign-up sheet at that fair at 12:30. So come visit us. Thank you. 0. Perfect.
For more, please visit us at stanford.edu.